On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning, Kevin Durant. You should have never left California.
This Bronx will upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no! Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Oh, yeah! Time to get this party started. Sorry we're late. Good morning. Welcome to the fabulous, fantastic Football Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning. And there's someone I got to bring in too, and it's this man. Now batting for the Yankees, the man who is happy the next season has begun, number 420, Wize El Jefe. Number 420. As he has a musical opening to start today. How are you, brother?
What's going on?
Did you get caught off camera? You were playing music when I was introducing you.
Oh yeah. No. I tend to listen to music when.
What were you listening to?
It was Future, actually.
Okay. Me, I was banging out Quiet Riot on the drive back from bringing my daughter home. And I came in here and I said, I'm going to sleep for like 30 minutes. It didn't turn out to be 30 minutes because I set my alarm. And why is it? It's like what you went through when you came in your office and you sat in your chair and you were ready to go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then your chair took you under.
Yeah. It was funny because I had to guess because I suffer from sleep apnea. So I was snoring away in the studio and the guest could hear me. And she messaged me. Oh, that was one of the funniest moments, man. You gotta laugh at these moments, man. It's those moments you gotta really laugh at.
And it happened to me when I was scheduled to be on your program because I had been running around all day, and you had messaged me. You said you ready to go, and I looked and I went, oh no! I went and hopped in the room. You're like, you're good. I went back to and when you said everything was okay, I fell back to sleep.
Yeah, man, it happened. Listen, life happens. You can't really dwell on that. It's like
it's like
friend of mine.
We gotta laugh at moments like
you gotta laugh, man. Like my friend of mine, he just started a podcast. Shout out to my man Ty Hodges. Check out Growing Up Brooklyn. But he's had a few cancellations and no shows and stuff like that. But it's part of the business. This is part of the business. Is people are not going to show up. Sometimes they might forget. Sometimes they regret. They might not want to come on the show.
Right.
So it just happens. I don't get upset over it. Like before, I would get upset. Like, yo, what the heck? But I don't get upset over it. It's like if it's meant to happen, if the conversation is meant to happen, that's going to happen. Yeah. I'm not gonna be upset because this person didn't show up. They're missing out. They're losing because they're missing an opportunity to be on a great show. And that's how I look at it.
And you look, I'm hooked on Wize in the AM now, as well as the Stuck in My Mind podcast. I think it's a brilliant idea. I saw your notification, like I said, when I was going to get Sonya, saying I'm starting a little late. And for some reason that pinged in my head. It's like, why am I getting the feeling I'm going to start late also?
Well, I had a late start today because I had to run and do some stuff early this morning.
Same here. Same.
So like at 6 o'clock in the morning, I was in Walmart buying some stuff that we needed for the house.
Right.
And I was buying stuff to make for breakfast for the wife. And so I knew I wasn't going to be able to make the 7 o'clock start. So I just pushed it back to 8. I did a live and said, hey, I'm pushing the show back to 8. But I might just push it back to 8 because I had more interaction at 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock, I'm realizing it's real early in the morning. 8 o'clock, people probably had already gotten up, getting their coffee.
They've gotten up, they've gotten their coffee, they've gotten started.
So Wize in the AM might be transitioning to 8 a.m. in the morning now. So
yeah. All right, let's do a brief session of the whip around. Damian Lillard scored 39 in his Bucs debut as the Bucs defeated the now tampering Philadelphia 76ers. That final 118-117 on Thursday night at the Fiserv Forum. And I mentioned the tampering Philadelphia 76ers because, yes, there's something to that. More on that in just a moment. Dalvin Cook is frustrated with the New York Jets. He's going to talk to his agent about a trade. Admitting his frustrating and a reduced role with the Jets, he will speak to his agent and general manager Joe Douglas about the possibility of a trade. Cook, who had only 3 carries for 12 yards in the Jets' last game, a Week 6 victory over the Philadelphia Eagles, has been the subject of trade speculation. The trade deadline is Tuesday at 4 p.m. Your thoughts on this situation with Dalvin Cook?
Breece Hall. That's all I have to say. You have Breece Hall, so you're not gonna get the carries that you're expecting to get. This Breece Hall is a stud. I've been on the Breece Hall bandwagon since they drafted him last year. I'm not even a Jets fan, but I'm on the Breece Hall bandwagon. I think he's a phenomenal running back. I think he's the reason that their season went downhill last year. After they lost him, it went downhill. So Dalvin, I thought you should have went and joined your brother in Buffalo. I thought that was a much better.
That would happen too.
I thought that was a better situation for him. I definitely thought it was a better situation for him, especially since Buffalo needs a running game. I knew if
you took the next question out of my head. Does Buffalo still have a chance to get him?
I don't know if the Jets will trade him within the division.
True.
I don't know. I don't think they'll trade him within the division. But there's teams out there that need running backs. Ravens need a running back.
Bad.
I'm hearing King Henry. Dallas needs a running. They're talking about but Dallas has Tony Pollard.
Yeah, Dallas is talking about King Henry also, and Jerry Jones has opened his mouth and put his foot in it again, saying they would make the trade and eat the money to trade for King Henry. Onward and upward we go. The FBI has joined the University of Michigan Police Department's investigation of former Wolverines assistant football coach Matt Weiss, who was fired in January following a report of unauthorized computer access crimes at the school's football building. Matt Weiss, you big dummy. That's all I got to say. You big dummy. Who?
I don't got nothing to say on that idiot. So yeah,
me neither. Idiots indeed. Game 1 of the World Series is tonight, but the singers for games 1 and 2 in Arlington have been set, as Major League Baseball announced that Grammy Award-winning musician Her will perform the national anthem for Game 1, and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America National Youth Talent performer Pearl Patterson will perform for Game 2. The MLB has not released who will perform for the following World Series games. I'm actually looking forward to this World Series because the Rangers have home field advantage and they're favored to win this World Series. Well, what do you know?
Let's be honest. Nobody want to watch this World Series. Stop it. No.
I'm a baseball nut. I can't help it.
Nobody cares. Nobody.
Stop it. Get some help.
Shut up, Cole. And yes, that clip was my doing. That's an abbreviated version of the whip around presented by Fanatics. After the break, Cole Johnson will join you. Then you'll see Sam Shady. We have our picks and a whole bunch of other stuff. Stay tuned. Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson and Wize El Jefe will continue after this.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids from the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube. Papi J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wize El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Papi J and Wize El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Criticize. That's why you forwarded. Well, you should have
Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning, and yeah, I think it's about that time we welcome this man. Football insider Sam Shady now joins us, and he's all decked out in eagle green. Good morning, Sam. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well, Brian. How you doing?
Well, we're up. We're around. It's week 8. Can you believe that? It's week 8.
This season's flying by. It feels like it's going by faster than any season prior to it. It's crazy to think that we're already this way through, halfway through.
Did it seem like we were just starting the season to you, and then all of a sudden we're just rolling through right now, man?
100%. That's exactly how I feel. It feels like just yesterday we were talking week 1. Now here we are talking week 8, and it was like the blink of an eye. It feels like it's been 1 week, not 8.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a week. All right, let's focus on your Eagles. 6-1, sitting up top the NFC. They still have some holes to fill, as do a lot of the top teams in the NFL, but it seems like the Eagles are getting their act together.
Yeah, this past game was a little bit more encouraging than the last few. I felt pretty good about our performance against Miami. Prior to that, when we lost to the Jets, it really caught me by surprise. I mean, I really thought our first loss was going to be Tampa Bay. We ended up beating Tampa Bay. That gave me a lot of confidence going forward. Mm-hmm. And then, here we are losing to Zach Wilson and the Jets just a week later, 2 weeks later. And, it caught me off guard. It gave me a little pause on the season, scared me a little bit because I don't think the Jets are necessarily a Super Bowl contender. And
Right.
to me, that's the only teams that the Eagles should really be losing to right now.
Yeah, that's the truth. The Eagles are the defending NFC champions. And what do you think righted the ship this past week for Philadelphia?
Well, I think it's finally getting some of that play calling in order. And I mean, I know that we've talked about it a lot, basically every week. Brian Johnson's a first-time offensive coordinator in the NFL, so he's got a long way to go in terms of figuring out the flow of the game. You know, this isn't the college game where he does have experience. There's a lot to adapt to and change. And I think it's finally week 7. It's his 7th week, finally calling an NFL offense. So I feel like he's getting into a little bit more of a groove and figuring out some of his issues a little bit. And I think it's really only going to get better going forward.
You got a big one coming up on Sunday before a bigger one coming up in Philadelphia. But let's concentrate on the one that you have this week, and that's the Eagles and the Washington Redskins. That's at FedEx Field. It's a 1 p.m. start. We've used this term often, you and I, since you've been on the show with us. Trap game. This looks like one. This feels like one. 7-point favorites going into this one in Washington.
Well, I would caution anybody that thinks this is going to be an easy win to go back and look at the last game. Washington nearly beat us. If it weren't for a couple plays falling our way, that's a loss. That's our first loss. So I personally think Washington's a lot better team than people are giving them credit for. Sam Howell is playing amazing. If he had an offensive line in front of him, we'd be talking about him being a Pro Bowl candidate right now. Possibly even better. Maybe he's in the MVP race. But ultimately, I think this is going to be a tough game. I think 7 points is probably a little bit generous on that spread. I personally think it's probably going to come down to a field goal. I expect it to be a very tight game most of the game. And it wouldn't shock me if the last team to hold on to the ball in the game is actually the one that finds victory. Because both of these teams have a lot of talent, especially in that front 7 for Washington. I mean, you look at all those guys they've got, Montez Sweat, Chase Young, all these different players. That front 7 scares me. They are equipped to handle Jalen Hurts, and they are definitely equipped to handle this run game that we have. And that's the main thing anytime you're facing Philadelphia. If you can force us to be one-dimensional, that's going to slow us down quite a bit. We have a great passing game, but anytime you can slow down and stop that run with Jalen Hurts, it really changes the whole scope of our offense.
In the last couple of years, that has been the key for Philadelphia is that running offense. And you've added DeAndre Swift in the offseason, who seems to be finding his groove now with the team. And as you mentioned, it comes down to play calling. But when we saw the trade, when you and I saw the trade together, the first thing that we both thought of and said is that Philadelphia finally has their bell cow running back. DeAndre Swift can be a 3-down back. He's got the ability to do so. And early in the year, we were asking, why is he not being used that way? I think you saw last week the potential being there.
100%. I mean, it's been kind of odd how they've used him this season because there's been games where he's been really dominant. He's been the sole focus of the offense. And then there's other games that he just disappears. Like week 1 carry for 3 yards. Then he goes on to have 2 games where he comes out and he puts up over 100 yards apiece. Then he basically falls or disappears again and puts up 56 yards in the following week and only carries the ball 14 times. So it's kind of interesting to see how it's all shaken out, especially because they're not using the depth pieces behind him that I expected. Rashad Penny's barely gotten any playing time whatsoever, and he was supposed to be a huge addition for us this offseason. He kind of brings that one facet to the game that DeAndre Swift doesn't bring when it comes to that like inside the tackles banger. But ultimately, that's my main complaint right now with our run game. DeAndre Swift is doing amazing. I think he was exactly the type of back that we needed in this offense. And he's the exact type of back that we always hoped Miles Sanders was going to be, and he never really was until that final season before he left and then got paid by Carolina. So definitely very, very awesome to see yet another I don't want to call it a diamond in the rough because DeAndre Swift was a second-round pick, but
Right.
he was a guy that Detroit was ready to move on from him. So we got him for basically a bag of potato chips, and here he is rocking it out this season. And honestly, it's just another one of Howie Roseman's feathers in his cap. Let's put it that way.
The Eagles and the Redskins this Sunday from FedEx Field. It's a 1 p.m. kickoff. Now let's shift gears and talk a little CFL.
Commanders.
The Football League is winding down. This is the final week of the year. 3 games on the docket beginning tonight in Calgary with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who have sealed up the West Division, and the Calgary Stampeders finding their way into the playoffs yet again.
That definitely shocked me. I mean, at one point it looked like Calgary was on the outside looking in, and yet here we are. They're going to end up being in the playoffs. It's just an amazing turnaround, quite honestly. Jake Mayer, sometimes I hate him, sometimes I love him. I'm not quite sure what to think about him, but he basically has done enough to get him there. So hopefully he can kind of sustain his performance that he's been doing so far. But ultimately, Winnipeg's always a tough out. The only thing that goes in Calgary's favor here is the fact that Winnipeg already has playoff hopes sewed up. So their seeding isn't going to change any based on this game. So most likely we'll see a lot of their backups, at least I would guess at halftime. And I would expect Calgary to find a win in this game due to that.
Yeah, I think that to be the case also. And plus it's at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. So it's gonna be a wild atmosphere in Calgary because no one expected them, you and I included, because we talked about this at the top of the year that Calgary was going to go through a bit of a transition. Nope, here they are sitting in the playoffs.
100%. I mean, I think all of us were kind of intrigued to see how this team would come together after the quarterback change. Anytime you move on from a veteran like Bo Levi Mitchell and ultimately go over to Jake Mayer, it's you never really know how it's going to go. Sometimes the team responds well, sometimes the team responds poorly, and I think it's been a little bit of both for Calgary so far this season. So it's definitely been one of the funner teams to watch. They've definitely been a little bit of an up and down up team all season long. Like I said, basically one week it's Jake Mayer looks like the second coming, and the next week he looks like the worst quarterback in the league, and it's just a matter of which opponent they're facing and how quickly he comes off the bench.
Yeah, it does. Hamilton and Montreal kick off the Saturday slate. It's at 4 p.m. And these two are going to get very familiar with each other, as well as the venue, as this is being played at Molson Stadium in Montreal. Talk to me about the turnaround of the Montreal Alouettes.
I think Montreal this whole season has been playing under their potential. I really thought from the very beginning they were going to be the second team in the East there, but basically, by I want to say week 14 they were at 500 or a 500 record, and it was just surprising to see. I honestly think they have a lot more talent than their record really shows. Cody Fajardo is probably a big reason why that is, because honestly, he's turned the ball over just as much as he's thrown touchdown passes this season. And it's just been something that's been super hard for Montreal to overcome in a lot of games. They've lost a lot of close games, which hasn't helped their record at all. But ultimately, I kind of always had a feeling they would be there. To be completely honest, I think this whole season has kind of shown the chinks in their armor. So I got to be real honest. I don't know if they're going to have a deep playoff run. To be quite honest, I would expect it to be one and done for them the way they've played the season so far.
And then you got the defending Grey Cup champions, the all-world Toronto Argonauts. They traveled to Ottawa to conclude their season. Toronto came out of the gate swinging, and they have the number 1 seed in the East. They've been proven they're the number 1 team in the CFL all year. Now they get Ottawa as a tune-up before they defend their title. And they play in the East Final on November 11th. So this is a tune-up game before they get a week off to heal.
100%. 100%. I mean, it seems crazy to say, but Toronto's really had like 3 tune-up games to finish out their season. I mean,
Yeah.
they honestly have just dominated this year so crazily. Chad Kelly's played amazing. Even when he came out a couple weeks ago and they put in Cameron Dukes played well as well. For anybody who doesn't know, former IFL quarterback, so I'm always rooting for him to, find success in the CFL. But ultimately, Toronto's just unstoppable this season. If I had to pick my favorite right now for a Grey Cup champion, it is 100% Toronto all over again. And to be completely honest, in this game, this is essentially a preseason game. This basically boils down to a 2024 preseason game already, because Ottawa's out of this. This game means nothing to them other than seeing who they've got on their roster for 2024. Toronto is on the other side of things. They're just trying to get out of this game healthy. They don't care if they win or lose. They honestly just want to roll into the playoffs and make sure that they don't lose any of their big stars to injury. So honestly, I expect to see backups on both sides of the ball in this one. And to some people, that might make for a more boring game. To me, it's the opposite. I want to see these young guys. I want to see them get an opportunity. I want to see what we have on the bench, the guys that haven't really played much this season so far. And I mean, if you're looking at Toronto, those backups aren't a far drop off. I mean, Cam Dukes already showed it earlier this season.
Yeah, they're not a far drop off at all. That's our look at the final regular season week of the CFL. Next week, Sam and I will come back with Eastern and Western semifinal previews. One more preview before we get out of here, and it's this one. It's the one where the fans responded. Oregon and Utah. Let's see. About 80 points, about 800 yards of offense. And this is it for Oregon. They've already lost once. You could say the same for Utah, coming off of a big win at Southern California. Do either one of these teams have a shot at a playoff berth should whomever wins on Saturday in Salt Lake City?
100%. I mean, I think both of these teams are really talented, and I expect both of them to be in the playoff hunt throughout the season. Like you said, this game is real crucial for Oregon already, but that's also why I think they'll come out of this one with a win. Utah, I think, has a little bit more room to work in terms of their playoff hopes, but it'll be interesting to ultimately see what happens with both of these teams. I think, they're a lot like the Calgary mention that we spoke about before. That they're playing tight, they're playing pretty good, and then all of a sudden they have an off game, and you kind of wonder what happened, and then they bounce right back. So hopefully Oregon ends up winning this one. Like I think, kind of a closet Ducks fan, so hopefully we get another win here. But ultimately, realistically, this is going to be a good game to watch. I expect both of these teams to come out swinging, and I honestly expect this to be a really close game, and it wouldn't surprise me to see it be a shootout, which is always fun to watch, especially with two high-powered offenses.
It is fun to watch. Bo Nix and the Ducks travel to Salt Lake City to take on 13th ranked Utah. Yours truly will have the call Saturday afternoon. We'll start our live stream at 3 p.m. with
Stop the cap
to kick off at 3:30. That's Sam Shady joining us here on the program, talking all things football. We gave you the Eagles preview. We previewed the final week of the CFL. We slipped in a little college football. Thank you, Sam. We love you. We'll do it next week.
Absolutely. Real quick before I get out of here, congratulations to the Oregon Black Bears from the AFL who just announced their presence on Tuesday. And then last night, we got word that the Washington team has officially accepted the Wolfpack name. So the Everett, Washington team will be the Washington Wolfpack. If you have not seen those logos, I highly encourage you to go check them out because
it's not the
very cool. I really, really like that Wolfpack logo. The colors are amazing.
Same here.
But honestly, I'm just excited to see more AFL teams announced. I know there's a lot of doubts about the league. I'm not going to sit here on a pedestal and tell everybody it's going to work. All I'm saying is I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. I'm following it very closely. So I'll have the Oregon Black Bears coach and the Albany Firebird head coach on Saturday. So definitely tune in for that. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for having me on, Brian.
Feels good to say Albany Firebirds one more time. Thank you, Sam. And in case you didn't know, that's the Albany Firebirds. They're back, and so are we after this.
Well, live life every day.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube. Papi J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying, but this is also an option.
Wize El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Papi J and Wize El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Well, we are back at 42 after the hour. That's 42 past the hour. You are inside. Snowman, the morning with Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson. I am now joined by my mentality brother, Wize El Jefe. How you doing, my brother?
What's going on, brother?
Everything is good. Everything is good. All right. I think there was a football game that was played last night. Yeah, yes, it was. So the Buffalo Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers played for us last night. The game really wasn't truly in doubt. I mean, the Bills really had control of the game, but they wanted to cede control of the game almost at every juncture of it before succumbing to actually claiming victory 24-18 over the Bucs. Now, Allen had a field day. I mean, he threw for over 300 yards. But that's just too many throws. 40 times throwing the ball. Nah. 31 of 40 to throw 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick. And the star of the show was Khalil Shakir, I should say, for the Bills. He caught 6 passes for 92 yards. Stephen Diggs did get 9 receptions on 12 targets, only 70 yards. Gabe Davis did get a touchdown reception as well. For the Bucs, you have Baker Mayfield, or as Wise's favorite punching bag for this week would say, Bunker Stayfield. That's 25-42, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did not throw a pick, but he was put down to deter 3 times. The game really wasn't all that exciting, nor was it that close. What were your thoughts on last night's game, sir?
For the only thing I really care about is the fact that I had Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen going on in my fantasy league. In one fantasy league, I had Mike Evans going in another league. He scored a touchdown, so I was good on that. So that's all I really cared about was my fantasy football stats. I really didn't necessarily watch the game. I could care less. I don't watch Thursday night football. It is boring. It sucks to me because these teams are not preparing properly.
No, they're
Some of
not.
these games really suck. But the NFL wants to continue to. It's all about the dollar, about the money, money.
That's right.
So I'm just happy for the fantasy stats. That's all I really care.
You happy for the fantasy stats? That
yeah. This is the only time. Listen, I have a Dallas Cowboy on one of my fantasy teams.
Doggone it! Wait a minute. Hold on. I do have something I can play in its stead.
Stop it. Get some help.
You have a Cowboy on your fantasy football team.
I have Tony Pollard on one of my teams. Yes.
Okay. Well, you have the smartest. Well, other than you can't really single out a defensive player.
No, you would pick the Dallas defense, but yeah, no.
You would pick the defense, yes. But yeah, well, but say of the Cowboys, if you had to select a singular player, it would probably be him. But yeah. All right, so the Bills go to 5-3. The Bucs, I think they now fall to 3-4, and the NFC South to me is looking more and more comical.
Someone's going to be 8-9 to win that division.
Well, I mean, hey, the Bucs were 8-9 last year to win it, so
someone again will go 8-9 to win that division.
A Tom Brady led 8-9 squad won the NFC South last year. So yeah, I agree with you. I think we might see another 8-9 champion this year. I mean, there's
no one in that division really wanting that division. Like no one wants to take a hold of that division.
No,
the Saints don't want to take it. The Falcons don't want. The Bucs. No one really wants to step up and take off. So our 8-9 team will more than likely win that division.
Yeah. So I mean, at current, you have the Falcons who are leading it at 4-3. You have the Saints and the Buccaneers. Of course, the Buccaneers hold the tiebreaker at the moment because of their victory in the Superdome. Each are 3-4, and then of course you have the Panthers. Do we need to discuss anything further about them?
Have they won yet?
They have not won a game yet.
I don't think they will.
And I don't think they will either. I mean, we actually might see our first 0-17 team in history.
No. Oh, yeah, 0-17, yes.
0-17 team. We have seen 0-16, yes.
We might see our first 0-17 team, yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a possibility.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Okay, switching gears. So, all right, well, fine. In the sports realm, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to all right, in the sports realm, what has caught your eye in the last couple weeks, last 3 weeks, last month?
Huh?
Okay, so what Wize is saying is the one thing that really caught his eye in the sports world was the fact that he gets to gloat over our brother D. Willie because on an appearance on In or Out Sports Debate,
he was yes.
Our brother D. Willie predicted that the Giants would start the season 1-7.
Yes.
And two great responses came from Wize. He was like, let me have what you're smoking. And now you're going to be called Mr. Disrespectful.
Yes.
And what made it even funnier and what made it even better was that Drew Willingham, that's our brother D. Willie, he said it with his full chest, more so as the time went on, and double especially when the Giants were actually starting to lose games. So he'll say, my prediction about the Giants coming 1-7 is about to become true. So about 3 weeks before the game between the Commanders and the Commanders, not the slur.
During your show, the show that you do with D. Willie now, yes. So what?
Yes, yeah. So we were previewing. I think it was a Giants game. It was I forgot if it was the one in San Fran or the one at home against the Seahawks. But it was around that time period where and Wize was on the show Total Football Talk, which has a new time. You can join it this coming Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Starting the 7th of November and onward, it would start at 9 a.m. Eastern. Yes, I know. Tuesdays you won't be able to see me here on Snowman in the Morning starting next Tuesday. I got it. So our brother Wize was watching the show, a faithful watcher as he has been, and I totally appreciate him for that. He was listening intently, and of course, when it got to the Giants, he commented, and he mentioned Mr. Disrespectful. That's what he calls Drew Willingham now, and
I kind of stopped calling him that because his prediction didn't come true. So,
and as D Willie can do, he can go on a nice, fiery, impassioned tirade, which I love because it's hilarious when he does it. And so he was on another one saying that his prediction was going to become true, and that it looks like the Giants will actually start 1-7, and he was actually feeling pretty good. And then Wize types in the chat, and I love it that he did.
Bold letters, yes.
Yes, yeah, in all caps. Quote: "It will be your own team that will do you in." Close quote. Yeah. Meaning. On the schedule, two games before the possible 1-7 could possibly 2 games before the possible 1-7 start could actually hold true. The Giants hosted the Commanders, which of course was this past Sunday, and Wize, being the man that he was, he looked forward to that schedule, and he said, "Okay, I'm circling this date. And it'll be your own team." And he typed it in lowercase too. He said, "It will be your own team that will do you in. It will be your own team that will do you in."
And then I put in, how are you going to feel losing to a 1-5 team?
You did put that.
Yes.
So of course the game happens, and the Giants win 14-7 on the Commanders. And you had an epic tirade from Jonathan Allen in post game, which I agree about those things, about what he was saying. Definitely on the defense side of the ball there. And Wize, being his, hey, this is just me moment, just his personality. We have this chat that has Drew, has Ryan, and has a couple of the people, Wize and myself.
Yes.
And so Wize, after he capped on me about my asking for the Rangers and my Astros being eliminated. So mind you,
it was good. It was a good week. It was a good week. For Wize, he strutted like a peacock to us.
Because he got a chance to clap on your boy hard.
Pause. That's a pause moment. I didn't. Come on now. That's a pause moment. But anyway, yes.
I'm sorry, sir. Well, he decided to go in on your boy. Pause.
Again, another pause moment.
That one actually was on purpose because I wanted to do the pause. But he decided to hit me hard with the punch. Seeing Maestros go down to the Rangers, and the fact that I asked for them, and so he strutted like a peacock. He's like, "Yeah, I told you, be careful what you asked for." Mm-hmm. And it wasn't even 30 minutes later, we see this. We see this in this mutual chat room after he personally attacked me. He went, quote, "Good morning, everybody. It is so wonderful being a 2-5 Giants fan."
Yes.
Close quote.
Yes, that
I'm like-
happened. That happened. Yes.
I'm like, man, we can't tell Wize nothing this week. We can't tell him nothing this week.
No. So it was a great weekend. It was a great weekend. It was a great weekend. The Giants won.
Mhm.
The Astros lost.
See, that's
Brock
cold.
Purdy was brought down to reality. So it was a good week. It was a good week.
But see, you didn't clap like. I'm sorry. You didn't go ham on a 49er fan, though, like you did with me and you did with Drew Willingham.
Because the week before I had already gone ham on the 49ers fan because they lost to the Browns. This just made it. This just was the icing on the cake. Like,
Lights on the cake?
Yeah, this is the icing on the cake. The second loss was even sweeter. Like, oh man, y'all lost to the Vikings. I can understand the Browns because the Browns have a really good defense.
The defense is nice.
Their offense sucks, but their defense is really good.
Yeah, defense is nice. Yeah,
hot garbage. So
yeah,
to lose to the Vikings,
that has hot garbage defense.
Yes,
they have a hot garbage defense, and they have no running game.
Nope. And they got Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins leading the pack. So.
Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins playing on prime time.
Playing on prime and no Justin Jefferson.
That's right. Justin Jefferson is injured. I totally forgot about that.
No Justin Jefferson. And you lose to the Vikings. That was sweet. That was sweet. I loved it.
Well, they did make a star out of Jordan Addison. Thank you, 49ers.
They did.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, you had to revel in everything, and I know your week was great.
Yeah,
your week sports wise is still great, but it was perfect for you. It was perfect until it was perfect until the NBA season started. Madison Square Garden.
But I'm not really disappointed. Because we were playing Boston, and everybody assumes that Boston is the much better team. We held our own. We actually gave that game away, missing as many free throws as we did. So that game should have not been. We should have won that game, but it's okay. It's all right. It's early start to the season. We started off slow last year, and look where we finished at. So it's okay. I'm good. I'm not. Yes, it was Boston. It was Boston. That kind of that's the only part that we lost.
Thank you. I was like, stop perpetrating fraud to the people. Come on now.
Yeah, no. It stung. It hurt. And then seeing David 3000 post about the Celtics, like it was.
Thank you.
It was annoying. But
that's what I'm saying. It was a perfect sports week for you.
For that one day.
Until
Wednesday.
The Celtics invaded Madison Square Garden, and then we all probably heard as loud, as clear as a bell. Every one of us probably heard Wize all the way from his home in the mountains say,
the following is a public service announcement from Wize El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wize El Jefe.
I might just have to bring it back this week because there's a couple names I want to add to that. There's a couple of there's a unicorn that I need to add to that list. So I might be bringing that back this week. Who knows? It might just happen. Yeah.
And for those who are unaware, so of course, well, some of you do know. For those that don't, Wize and I actually do a show independent of this one called Mentality, and there is a bit, or was a bit, I should say, that was recurring, where he basically said "F everything Boston," and he was going to light every Bostonite he possibly could, and he decided to retire it because he was tiring of it.
Yeah.
But he did give himself the out of saying, I do reserve the right to bring it back if the city, if it's warranted that the city is actually doing something really foul and I could just dust it off. So I guess the city must have done something, or a city resident must have done something foul, and you're about to dust it off. Okay.
Oh yeah. No. Yes. The unicorn is about to be added to that list.
Oh Lord. Okay, so when he says that list, He has an F everything Boston list, and it grows by the second. But
a lot of Bostonians on that list. A lot of Bostonians. Yes, they might not be naturally from Boston, but if they had any association with Boston, they are on that list.
Seriously, Larry says Brock Purdy wasn't brought down to reality. 49ers fans who claim Purdy is elite were brought down to reality. Well,
yes, you're absolutely serious, Larry. You're absolutely right, because there's a certain 49er fan who would just not let go of that joystick, would not let go of it. Brock Purdy's this. Brock Purdy, he's won 10 games in the. This is all we would hear. 10 regular season game, 15, whatever it was that he's won in regular season, right? And we haven't heard peep about Brock Purdy the last 2 weeks from a certain someone, because he knows the truth now. That his quarterback is not elite. He's just average. Okay.
You fool! Give me this camera.
Yes, LeBron, it is you. It's always been you. It always will be you. Forever and ever. Amen.
Oh, I'm sorry, that slipped. I didn't mean to touch that one. You were talking about a certain 49ers fan, and all of a sudden my button just my trigger finger just hit that button for some reason. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. A moment of unprofessionalism for me. I beg of your forgiveness.
Larry, you're absolutely right. He wasn't. It's just a certain someone. You're right. I agree with you. It was 49er fans, and then it was a certain 49er fan. Yes.
Yeah, Purdy is extremely level-headed, and he never bragged. He still hasn't even.
Yeah.
But yes, and I agree. It was. I didn't think Purdy was elite. I was like, he still needs some time. Let's see how he does. But it looks like he's doing good thus far. And he still has done good thus far. But
I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. He is, but for people to continuously, for people to just keep saying he's elite, that he's one of MVP and all,
yeah. And I was actually hearing some not our beloved 49er fan here, but I was hearing some people say, well, man, he's Montana all over again. I'm like, hold on, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
No.
He win Jack, and I already claiming him to be one of the greatest 49ers.
Yes. And I actually saw someone say, wow, he's the greatest quarterback in San Francisco since Montana. I'm like, whoa. He needs to win a Super Bowl first, then we can start doing that. Until then, no.
Not even on Jeff Garcia's level right now. Like, come on. Like, I'm getting very disrespectful. Jeff Garcia was a really talented 49ers quarterback.
Well,
we had Alex Smith lead them to a Super Bowl. We had Colin Kaepernick.
He didn't lead the Super
Bowl. Not winning, but they got. What was it, Colin Kaepernick? One of them.
Okay. Well, I guess you could say it was a tag team effort, because Smith started that season and then Kaepernick finished the season.
Okay, so whatever. There's quarterbacks that's taking them to the Super Bowl.
I mean, Garoppolo took the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo took him as well. See, so when you get to that level, when you've led your team to the Super Bowl, to at least play in the big game, then you can talk.
That's another level.
Right. You haven't even done that yet.
Yeah, so when I heard 49ers fan, not Snowman, but when we heard 49ers fans say, yeah, this is the best quarterback 49ers has since Montana, I'm like, wait, hold on. You had another quarterback in the canon of the team that actually has won a Super Bowl besides Montana starting a quarterback. So you're just going to gloss all over Steve Young?
Yep.
No. Until he wins a Super Bowl, you can't even put him in Steve Young's category on best quarterback list of the 49ers. You can't do that. And to Wise's point, you really can't do that until he actually gets a Super Bowl, which means yes, you gotta say that. Not saying that this is going to be true throughout his career, but right now, Garoppolo is better. Not is, but was better on that list. Kaepernick was better on that list simply because they brought the team to a place that Purdy hasn't brought them yet.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. And look, we're both with you, seriously, Larry. He is good. I actually like him. I like how he is. Because I always say to people when they get enamored with the athletic quarterback, I'm like, no. The quarterback position is supposed to be. It's like the football's version of a point guard. And if you can have him be that way, then you can go far. He is that, and the 49ers will go far. But yes, I agree. 49ers fans need to slow their roll.
He was listen, he was a starter in college. Him and my
was he a 4-year starter in college?
Might be. He might have been. I don't know. He might have been.
I know. And I started a lot of years, so I can't remember if he was a 4-year starter.
I'm not sure. But him and he came from the same school my boy Breece Hall came from. So
Iowa State.
Yes, they came from Iowa State, and he had a solid career. Was he one of the top rated quarterbacks coming out? No. But I just feel that he's got a long way to go to be considered in the conversation with Mahomes, Allen, Hurts.
That's not even a question. That's not even a question.
Yeah, so you still got time to really become one of these quarterbacks. So
that's not even the question. Too much time. It's not even there yet. He's not quite there yet.
No.
And you're doing it, and to me, you're doing a disservice to the quarterbacks that Wise mentioned. You're doing a disservice to a Jeff Garcia, to a Jimmy Garoppolo, to an Alex Smith, because Purdy hasn't done that yet. Now, Purdy has won 2 playoff games already, so yes, kudos to him for that, and he's on his way there. But yeah,
but let's not act like he doesn't have weapons. He doesn't. Listen, you can see how his game has changed not having Deebo Samuels.
Oh, his game has changed.
Deebo Samuels is a key component of that team. Yes, McCaffrey played, but he's injured. He's hurt. He's not 100%. Right. So when the weapons around him are not there, he's not that type of quarterback to lead. He still be able to take this team and lead them for a victory. He needs his weapons around him. He can't do it all like a Patrick Mahomes, who even Jalen Hurts, hasn't had a real good game this year, right? But he still leads his team. His team is still 6-1.
Yeah, and that's still saying something about him, even.
Yeah, this team is still 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't played his best game yet.
Hasn't even come close to playing his best game this year.
Nowhere near his best game. That's why the Eagles to me are scary.
Mm-hmm.
They have not played their best game yet. They've been blowing chunks the whole year.
And the sad thing is it took a bad performance on a third INT from Hurts for us to not say the Eagles are 7-0. That is the scary part, like you said. Yeah. It took a mistake-littered game by Hurts for the Eagles to lose a game.
Again, he was playing one of the top defenses in the NFL.
Oh yeah. Kudos to Jets, because they have made good quarterbacks look silly.
They've turned their season. They've kind of turned their season around now. They're 3-3, so it's looking pretty good for them. But yeah, he lost to a one of the best, even though they didn't have some of their key defensive players.
That's
right. So this is how deep the Jets are on defense. They had no Sauce Gardner. They were missing a couple of other defensive players, and they still pulled off the victory. So listen, the Eagles, I'm afraid because I don't know what they're capable of. Like, and now they're just getting richer, adding the safety from the Titans. Like,
Kevin Byard.
Howie Rosen must have something on the
Every
Titans
GM in the league.
because on the Giants.
Oh, the Titans
GM, because he just fleeced he gave away Edmonds. They didn't really care about Terrell Edmonds, and a 5th and a 6th round pick for arguably one of the best safeties in football.
And the year before, they got AJ Brown for basically a mere bag of shells. So yeah, and we have heard Cool McCain actually say, nobody can say anything ill about the Titans for the next 3 years. He actually might extend that. And he says it's all due to the fact that they gift wrapped us A.J. Brown. Now they gift wrapped you Kevin Byard the very next year.
Yeah.
And before we go to a break to the Fanatics Feedback Zone, we head. Thank you, Vic. I appreciate it. He says good morning to the EP of all EPs, Mr. Cole Johnson. And that's to the Ed McMahon of the Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson Cannon, Victor Locke, V like A3, a.k.a.
Vic, if you catch the replay of Wize in the AM, I talk about you. So, yeah,
you're a great supporter, bro. There's no question about that. Ryan McCarthy, we all know, no credentials acquired fame, and I think Wize said he's either is or has appeared on the show. Well, he has appeared on the show already, but he might appear again real soon. He says no credentials acquired.
He said 10-minute spot. The 10-minute spot.
10 good minutes. That's right. So he says, every time the Four Horsemen of Pick'em spot plays, I hear McCarthy's a bonehead, and I had to do a double take. You know, Tiny Tim is not talking about you, Ryan. He's talking about Mike McCarthy, the inept, Super Bowl champion head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes. And and Tiny Tim is a Dallas Cowboys.
And Tiny Tim is a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, so
it made the criticism bite even harder. Yeah. Sam Shady, he says, look, love coming on this show every week. Can't wait to get some concrete info on the merger between the USFL and the XFL. Yeah, that has been something that has been talked about. It's been hinted at for almost this past month. And I think it's going to be a good thing for those two leagues to merge, because I believe if they do it right, they actually could be a force. And I'm not talking about the force to go against the NFL. I'm talking about a force that actually can be a mainstay in the sports lexicon in the calendar year, if they actually do play their cards right. And of course, the owner of Shady Sports Network says, again, hit that like button, comment your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you and please, if you do, enjoy the content. Thank you, sir. Rob Carlton, it's good to see you, my brother. He says, I feel bad for Frank Reich. I do think he's a good coach. I also think he might be in over his head in Carolina. That team is not doing him any favors.
Well, reports have come out that Frank Reich actually wanted CJ Stroud, and it was ownership and upper management that decided against it.
Yeah. Dave Tepper liked Bryce Young, and he thought that would be a bigger splash.
And all we know is that is not true.
Yeah, it's a straight up dud. And I'm not even saying Bryce Young is the dud. I'm talking about that team is a dud that's surrounding him. Oh, Ryan says, this Off the Rail segment is brought to you by Sucker Punch Energy Drink. Packed with flavor and packed with enough energy to take this show off the rails. Sucker Punch Energy Drink. Now I feel like Beyonce in saying that. Channeling my Houston tongue. VLOC A3 says, even Ty Pennywise makes a bonehead play. I do a double take. Even when, I should say. When he makes a bonehead play, I do a double take. Oh, man. Sergio Larry says, look, as a Vikings fan, I trade Kirk for Purdy in a heartbeat. But you just know that the Vikings wouldn't do the same. I mean, Oh, no, 49ers wouldn't do the same. I mean, I don't think they want Kirk Cousins. Ryan says, look, the Jets were without two of their best corners and still won that game. Talking about the game between themselves and the Eagles. He said, Vic said he will check out Wize in the AM. Thank you. So wise man. Seriously, Larry says, I've heard the USFL XFL merger, and it tends to be the minor league of the NFL, not direct competition. Yes, 1,000% with the last two words you said, seriously, Larry. Smart move. I think that's the move that I was talking about. If they do not make themselves direct competition, they make themselves actually a pipeline to the NFL. I think their shelf life will be exponentially longer. Exponentially longer. Oh, Michael 3000 says F New York. And Sick Diggy gives us his vintage greeting of good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Good afternoon to you, sir. Coming to us all the way from Norway. And seriously, Larry says winning business model. Yeah, it is. When you can have each team earn almost $300 million a year, that's a real serious business model that wins.
Yeah.
All right, we shall return, and when we do, well, when you see the two of us return, we might be entering the Boom Shakalaka. But get your picks ready. Week 8 of the NFL is on tap, and it's already here. But hear the rest of those games right now.
It's week 8 already. Let me try this again. Can y'all believe it's Friday? It's about that time during hour 2, and it's time for us to make some picks. And of course, all
no slur.
Brought to you by BetUS.com. Cole is with me. Vikala is our guest picker, and of course, we welcome our senior NFL advisor, the one and only Mike DeBate, who joins us every Friday morning. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thank you so much for having me today, gentlemen.
All right. So we had to do the proper introduction for.
Of course.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I took a look at the slate of games, and Mike, you will agree with me. You and Cole have been with me the longest in doing this show. There are some dog games again this week, man. I mean, who writes this?
Well, we are halfway through the season, so
yeah, we are. All right, let's
Sunday
get going. That's
we'll have fun.
We'll have fun with the night games in just a moment. Let's start at the top and let's go to Indianapolis, Indiana. The Saints and the Colts. Colts 3-4 after getting royally played to the left last Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. New Orleans is favored by 1. The over-under is 43.5. I will do this for the sake of my household and for my beautiful wife, Jody. I'm taking a Colts, and they're going to blow out New Orleans. That's all I have to say. Michael?
Surprise.
Well, my good buddy Ross Jackson would probably want to put myself in a ringer right now for doing this, but I'm going with the Colts as well. Look, the Saints off the Thursday loss to the Jags. The offense struggled. The Colts really, I think, showed a little more on the offensive side of the ball than a lot of us gave us credit for last week. Saints defense can get to Gardner Minshew, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it enough. I like the Colts in this one. I think it's going to be a close one, so I'm not willing to go above and beyond, but I think they eke this one out.
All right, Cole, it's up to you.
The only thing the Saints have going for them offensively is Alvin Kamara. That defense has been trying their best to pull that offense with them, and I think they're starting to show signs of exhaustion. Meanwhile, I think the Colts are going to be upset from what happened last Sunday. They really did not lose that game on their own merit,
right?
But they lost anyway, and I think they want to prove that they're not what they were, say, when the season began. And I think they have a good team where they can show that they can muster up a really good game team-wise. So I go with the Colts as well.
All right, Victor, do you make this unanimous?
Yes, I do. This is going to be a revenge game for the Colts. They're going against a particularly weak team in the Saints, and they are mad that they got screwed over. So
Yeah,
they
they
are going
are.
to be coming in like a house of fire. I actually think they're going to probably blow this one out.
And the two Colts I look at on defense that are really mad, EJ Speed forcing the fumble, DeForest Buckner recovering the fumble. That's why I say the Colts will walk all over the Saints on Sunday at Lucas Oil Stadium. Thank you, Cole. I needed that. 5-2 Jags, 4-2 Steelers. Jacksonville favored by 2.5. This is a track game for both teams. Allow me to explain. Jaguars are coming off of a Thursday night win, but they're a little bit banged up. And then you have Matt, Canada, and the Steelers. I'm going to go with the visitors by a razor-thin margin. Over-under is 41. I'm going under. Give me the Jags. I will take the points, and I will take the under. Michael?
Yeah, I'm going with the Jags, and I'm taking the points too. Excuse me. The Jags have won 4 straight. This point in the season, you're starting to see teams emerge, and you're starting to see who's going to make a run for the playoffs and be one of the top teams in the league. I'm very impressed by what Pittsburgh has done defensively, and I think they've exceeded a lot of expectations, but Jacksonville has Trevor Lawrence. I think that makes the difference in this one over Kenny Pickett. I like the Jaguars in this.
All right, Victor, we go to you.
Yeah, I'm going to Jags on this one. I just think that the Jaguars have more weapons than the Steelers do offensively. Now, that's not to sneeze at the Steelers' defense. They've done significantly better than what I think most people were thinking. But, yeah, I definitely think that Jaguars eat this one out, and I'll take the points and go with the under as well.
All right, Cole, do you make this unanimous?
I do, simply because I don't know what to make of that Steelers offense. And, they're horrendous. They're horrible. They are a moribund. They would be a moribund franchise if it weren't for the fact they have a once in a generational talent on defense in TJ Watt. If it wasn't for him, and if it wasn't for that side of the ball, the Steelers would be just simply they would simply be bringing home the rear. Mm-hmm. But they will be bringing home the rear in this game. Because I think the Jaguars will build off the 3-game winning streak they've had and make it 4 in the capture bottle. Acrisure.
Somehow I knew Cole would deliver an uppercut for me. Let's go to the nation's capitals. We're still within our 1 o'clock games. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Redskins. Eagles favored by 7. 43.5 is the over-under. I'll make this simple. Like I did with the first game in this slate, I'll make it simple here. The tush push will not be necessary because Jalen Hurts is going to run all over that Washington defense. Give me the Eagles. I'm laying the points, and I'm going over. This time we'll go to Cole to start things off.
Let me see. How can I aptly describe this? Eagles.
Michael, it's yours.
How can I follow that? I mean, that seems to be just a consensus. I think that perfectly sums it up. I think that was excellent. No, I have nothing further to add. I yield my time. No, I'm kidding.
My time.
Major issues protecting Sam Howell. There's no question about it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, this one's not going to be a pretty one. Philadelphia's got this one.
Yeah. All right, Victor, make it unanimous.
Yeah, I got to go with the Fly Eagles fly on this one. Too many weapons. Hurts is Hurts. And then you have Sam Howell. And to honor Sensei Drew, the king of dumpster pelicans.
Yes.
So, yes, I'm definitely going to go with the Eagles.
And Sensei Drew, this is for you. We know quite a few more dumpster pelicans. We'll get to them all in this slate. Matter of fact, there will be about 80,000 of them at AT&T Stadium. Rams and Cowboys. And, of course, we're going to have Jimmy Johnson's How About Them Cowboys in our head for most of the afternoon. I can't believe I'm going to do this because Dallas is favored by 6.5 in this game. The Rams forget they have a running game. At the same time, so do the Cowboys. So who's going to run the ball? Is it going to wind up being Dallas runs the ball 20 times and the Rams run the ball 19 times? Because all four of us know, gentlemen, that they're going to depend on their quarterbacks to sling the ball 45 times. The question is, who will make the least amount of mistakes? And I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I'm going to, by a razor sharp thin margin, I will take the Cowboys. But two things: I'm taking the points, and I'm going under 45.5. There's no way these two teams together will put up 45.5 points. Victor?
Yeah, I'm going to go with my Cowboys, but I'm definitely taking the points. It's really going to come down to who's going to run the football better, and if it's going to be Pollard running the football or Dak running the football, because we all know that everyone loves to run Dak because they really can't trust his arm or his mentality. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys, of course, and I'm just hoping they do not let me down. God help.
Shout to Cole and Wize from Mentality. All right, Michael, we go to you.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys as well, but I agree with you, gentlemen. I think there's going to be a lot closer than people think. I think the Rams are a little more evenly matched here than most people are giving them credit for. Dallas is going to have to diversify their offensive, attack, and I agree with what Vic just said. They're going to try to take the ball, at least they should, try to take the ball out of, Dak's hands at some point. Lean on Tony Pollard, lean on some of what you've got. I'd love to see a little bit more Michael Gallup and maybe even Brandon Cooks in this matchup and try to burn that secondary. But if that does occur, then I think Dallas could end up going to a track meet on this. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Rams keep this close, but Dallas does come out on top, by virtue, I think, of their defense more so than their offense.
All right, Cole, do you make this one unanimous?
Well, in immortal words of Palpatine, good. Let the hate flow through you.
Yes.
Only Cole could come up with that on a Friday morning.
Are we surprised?
No.
Let me see. The Rams, the Wunderkind upsets me because he seems to forget he actually has a running. He seems to forget that in an offense, you must run the ball. Now, I'll give him credit the last 2 weeks. He hasn't forgotten, but I just get the feeling that I think he will in this game because I think he would feel the need to want to be aggressive and press the issue. And, of course, he's dealing with a team on the opposite end that forgets to run the ball, too. But in the end, I don't think the Rams have it for the Cowboys. I think they should take this game actually quite easily. So I pick the Cowboys as well.
Let's take a look at the only 405 game we have on our docket. It occurs in the New Kingdom. Lumen Field in Seattle. The Cleveland Browns and the Seattle Seahawks. I still wonder what Seattle's doing in the NFC, but be that as it may, Seattle favored by 4 at home. My simple question, why? It's PJ Walker versus Geno Smith. Let me repeat that matchup, ladies and gentlemen. It's PJ Walker versus Geno Smith. And as I said with the Rams-Cowboys game, who's going to make the least amount of mistakes? The over-under is 38. As mentioned, it's a 4:05 kickoff. And you know something? I rarely do this with involvement with this team, but I'm going to trust PJ Walker because I don't trust Geno Smith in this situation. There's something there. I know Cole's about to fall out of his chair, but
stop the cap.
The Seahawks. That's my question. Who is going to run the ball for the Seattle Seahawks? I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I am taking the points, and I'm going under. Michael?
Yeah, I'm going with Cleveland in this one as well, but not because so much I trust PJ Walker. I trust that Cleveland defense to limit Seattle's offense and pull the upset here.
Absolutely.
Like you said, I don't think Seattle is going to be able to effectively run the ball against this Cleveland defense. And again, you're putting the ball in the hands of Geno Smith. He's proven himself capable of winning, so I'm certainly not going to, knock him there. But I just think that Cleveland's defense is better than what Seattle can put out on offense, and I like them to pull the upset this week.
Cole, it's yours.
I trust the Browns defense. I don't trust the Seahawks running game. I most certainly do not trust PJ Walker, and unfortunately, because of that, It's why I'm going for the Seahawks. The Browns need to have a more reliable handed quarterback that's not going to turn the ball over, because unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, you will not have.
Brace yourself. Brace yourself, kids.
Here we go.
Towel time. There we go, girl. Oh, yeah. Let me work it out right now. I got to work this problem out. This shoulder's been giving me some issues the last month. Oh, yeah. Oh, this feels good. This feels. Doggone it. I can't go again. This sucks.
Do you think he stopped doing that? Because every time he does that, he can't go another week.
Right.
This is the Cleveland Browns in a nutshell, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to Victor. Finish it, please.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with the Browns because of the hot hand, which is a defense. Yes, PJ Walker may not be the greatest hand at quarterback, but all you need to do is just be a game manager.
Sorry, not sorry.
Handling it. And the last time I was here, the Seahawks were in purgatory. This time I'm here, the Seahawks are still in purgatory.
Yep.
So I'm definitely taking the Browns.
Not only in the NFC, but in the NFC West Division. Remember, everyone else in the NFC West Division's already lost, which brings me to this game, 4:25 kickoff in Santa Clara. A lot of chinks in the armor for my 49ers, but they sit at 5-2. They're 2 games ahead of where they were last year, taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, who are coming off of a bye. I had Clarence Nixon, our Bengals insider, on last Wednesday night, I beg your pardon, during that 49ers show. And he seems to be confident in the Bengals. I am not. I'm laying all 3 points.
Sure.
But he's still going to take the Bengals.
Like, we didn't know he wasn't going to pick the Bengals.
You don't know better. and on top of that, my wife Jody's laughing at this. My wife Jody's getting in on the fun.
He take the 49ers over the 85 Bears.
That I have here. Give me the 49ers. I'm laying the points. You're going to hear the Bengals will never, ever, there will not be enough times for Sam Darnold, who is expected to start on Sunday, to turn and hand the ball off to Christian McCaffrey. Trust your best offensive weapon when you don't have the top offensive weapon in Brock Purdy. Michael?
Yeah, I think San Francisco pulls it.
Did he say top offensive weapon in Brock Purdy?
Be in there.
Yes, he did.
It's Halloween weekend. He's going to start seeing ghosts again.
You heard correct.
Are going to do what the Patriots did to him when he was with the Jets a few years ago. But I don't see that happening. I think you're absolutely right. Shanahan knows how to game plan for these situations. Utilize your running game. Make that be your bread and butter. Have that open things up and have Donald manage the game. Even though that's not necessarily his MO, that's the most effective way for San Francisco to continue. I think they scored just enough to be able to do it. It's going to be close, but I still like the Niners.
All right, Victor, all yours.
Yeah, I'm going San Fran. I like Cincinnati to a degree, but all you're going to need to do is have Sam Darnold just get his hand off the CMC, and you're going to be okay. This gives enough time for Debo to rest. Gives enough time for Brock Purdy to rest, because you really do not want to risk Brock Purdy, who's already in concussion protocol. You want to give him time to rest. So I think, and honestly, even though I like Cincinnati, I don't think they have the weapons or the horses to take on San Fran. So I'm taking San Fran in this one.
And the bonus on this one is, even though they'll be minus Purdy, they're probably going to be minus Trent Williams. They win this one, they go into a bye at 6-2, which gives them an extra week to heal. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Cole, finish it.
I would pick the Bengals simply because I think the team has a better opportunity and a chance to steal a victory in Santa Clara with Sam Darnold at quarterback rather than Brock Purdy. However, the Bengals' philosophy offensively is something I just do not vibe with. Now I know Clarence like you, and I get why he's confident that the Bengals can come in and get a win.
Right.
The only issue I have with the Bengals is that they do not commit to Joe Mixon nearly enough. And if they committed to him more, I would like their chances better, because the way you get to the 49ers is just punch them in the mouth right off the gate.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals don't like to do that for some reason. And because they will show a lack of teeth, I will pick the 49ers.
Oh, man. Now we get to this one on Sunday night. And there's dumpster Pelicans all over the place in San Diego. I will not call them Los Angeles Chargers, even though that's the official name, as y'all will see.
Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, that happened. I have to. I will. If there was ever a game I would wish for a tie, this would be it. But I don't trust either one of these coaches. I still don't know what the hell a Matt Eberflus is. And then
You're
there's
a smart
Brandon
man.
Staley. And then there's Brandon Staley. You know what I'm going to do? It's going to be a first in the years I've done the picks. I'm taking a mulligan, and I'm diving under my desk on this one. I pass. Mike?
Well, the years I spent covering the Chargers would not allow.
But he does not do the pass with predicting Colts and 49ers games.
The Bears showed a little bit last week, I guess, against the Raiders. You can make that argument, but I just think the Chargers have way too much talent to keep losing games right up Brandon Staley, and I think they will find a way to pull this out, and not just by a little bit. I think this is going to be a comfortable win for the Chargers on Sunday. But yeah, wow, it's going to be an interesting one coming up on Sunday night.
Can we just go back to 1982 at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego when the Chargers had the blue uniforms and the gold pants? Oh my goodness, Victor!
Oh boy, this one is a bowling shoe ugly game.
Can we get that bowling shoe ugly, please?
I just don't see anything like this. And yes, the Bears did have a great game, but then again, they were playing against the Las Vegas Raiders. Wasn't even the Oakland Raiders. These were just the Las Vegas Raiders. So I don't see it happening. But then again, I look at the Chargers and look at Brandon Staley.
And they have Brandon Staley as their Brandon Staley. When Brandon Staley is your coach,
yeah,
and that's all you have to say. It's like Lewis Black said during one of his specials that's a favorite of Victor's and mine. Dick Cheney. And that's all I got to say. In this case, Brandon Staley. And that's all I got to say.
And having said all that, though, I still believe that the Chargers are more talented than the Bears. I think the front line, the offensive line of the Chargers is better than the Bears. And I think that's going to be a deciding factor. So I'm taking the Chargers on that one.
I'll change my mulligan. 40-0 San Diego. Cole, finish this, please.
Well, there's possible scuttlebutt. All of you make sense. All of you make absolute perfect sense. Yes. The Chargers are the better team. They're at home. The Bears are a dumpster fire. And yes, of the two coaches between Matt Eberflus and Brandon Staley, I trust Staley barely more than Eberflus. But I read the word around the campfire is that should the Chargers lose to the Bears Sunday night, that Staley might get fired. So
yeah,
I'm rooting for the Bears because I want Brandon Staley gone.
And I think for the benefit of the Chargers,
you know what,
they lose once that Staley can be gone.
You know what? The hell with it. Push the alarm again. For me, push the alarm again. If it goes the way as expected, then this will be 3 hours. None of us will be able to get back.
Correct.
Let's finish the picks. Raiders and Lions. And no, this is not 1990 in the Silverdome, where these two teams combined for 69 points and about 800 yards of offense. If there's 800 yards of offense in this game, then Detroit's getting 790 of them. I'm taking the Lions are favored by 9. Over-under is 46. You may as well make it 50 because Detroit's a little mad after being humiliated at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore last Sunday. Now they get an extra day to prepare. They get some extra time to prepare. On that extra day, give me the Lions, and I'm laying the points. Michael?
Yeah, they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I don't think that's going to be Josh McDaniels for too much longer. And I know this game is in Detroit, so but bottom line, I don't see a way that the Raiders can pull this one out. I mean, consecutive road games. They did not look good against the Bears last week. Again, you hit the nail on the head. The Lions are looking for revenge in this one, not against Raiders, but they're just looking to bounce back from a poor effort. And I think they do that. I think they bounce back in a big way here. It's a get-right game for the Detroit Lions.
Part 3, Cole.
I swear, Bowl Cut must have Monday Night Football's producer's number on speed dial. Why are we looking at this horrible franchise play on another national stage? They don't belong on it. And it's ridiculous. It'll be ridiculous. We're going to be seeing in Detroit the follow.
As I said, this is not Bo Jackson versus Barry Sanders where it's tolerable.
They're
making unanimous.
Lions.
Yeah, I'm making this unanimous. Motor City is going to be a madhouse, and honestly, I'm all for it. If I'm a Lions fan, I'm like, there is no way in God's green creation I'm going to lose to the team that got beat down by the Bears. There's just no way. This is going to be a get-right game for them after they got shellacked, and they're kind of mad. I think they're going to make it worse. I think they're going to make the loss, the beating that the Raiders received from the Bears, worse. So I'm going with the Lions. I'm laying the points.
That's our picks for week number 8. Can y'all believe that? And there are quite a few bowling shoe ugly games on this slate, as well as the slate overall. Cole Johnson joins me. Victor Locke joins me this week. And our senior NFL advisor, Mike Debate, joins as well. Michael, thank you so much for joining this morning. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Cole, Brian, Vic, always great doing picks with you guys. Cannot wait to do it again next week. Thanks so much for having me.
We will indeed do
Same
it again
thing.
Week. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, y'all know what time it is when we get back. Buckle up.
You're muted.
Oh, yes, that was Mike Debate joining us on picking week 8, along with, of course, once again, the one, the only. With the homer picks that you heard from, I'm sorry, that's inhospitable of me to do that with my brother. Along with the picks that you've heard, what are your picks for the games that we displayed for week 8 of this NFL season? Put it in the chat. We look forward to see who did well and who did not in the upcoming week. But you know who's doing well right now? We are, because this man is about to join us as he does every Friday at the bottom of our number 2.
And now, the transporter to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
The man who is the CEO of Baseline that joins us every Friday, and you can catch that show every Saturday, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, and, well, you know, in the Pacific time zone what you should do. Chris Bass, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you. Shout out, of course, to you, to the mad scientist, to Wize All, to our brother, of course, Rain Man, and to everybody in the comment section, the boys and girls. Good morning, boom shakalaka to you.
And a hearty boom shakalaka to you too, sir. And Brian, I'm sorry, Rayman, sends his regards that he couldn't be here, but he says hello to you and he wishes he was here.
He's probably somewhere getting more data and information about sports on Mars.
Well, knowing him, you might be right.
No, I know I'm right.
So-
I sat next to the Mother Hubbard for a while. I know how he operates. So, yeah. So he's
Well,
probably
yeah.
doing something otherworldly at this point. So there you go.
Yeah. And another hello to you from Mr. Cool McCain. He says, "Feel the bass." Good to see you. Good to see you, Cool. Glad that you're here, brother. All right. So, how can I ask this question? All right. What's on your mind, bro?
Oh, well, thank you. First, let me ducktail on the picks you gentlemen just talked about. Now, you see my sweatshirt. I represent the Bears. I love them, but I'm a realist. I'm not sit here and drink the orange and blue Kool-Aid. I can't
Thank
do
the
things
Lord.
like that. I'm a realist. So, you talk about talent on this team. My grandson, who's 2 years old, my grandson Emery has more talent than the whole Bears organization. My 2-year-old grandson Emery, who loves chicken nuggets, that alone is a talent that's more talented, that's more capable of watching than watching the Bears right now.
Are you saying that? How can I put this? Are you saying that? Not saying that your grandson isn't intelligent. Obviously, he is. But are you saying that a 2-year-old could run the operation a lot better than the people who do run it now?
You might as well give it a shot.
Wow.
You might as well at this point, because the whole it all starts from the top. It all starts from ownership with the
Yeah.
McCaskies. It's not going to change as long as you have the type of ownership. Just not. And when you do stuff backwards ass or ass backwards, depending on how your mindset is. For example, you could have got Patrick Mahomes, but you didn't, because
that's a doggone shame.
all the insiders, all the people who've been in the game for years told them, you passed on Mahomes, look where Mahomes is now. So what do? You go out and get another light-skinned quarterback to make up for Mahomes. And no offense to Justin Fields, but my point is, okay, we find another light-skinned, no offense to light-skinned people. I want the light-skinned community coming after me. The light-skinned quarterback.
Lord, no.
If we can do that and bring in Justin Fields, then we can justify not drafting Mahomes. Now, the thing about it is, it's sad when you have an organization been around since the beginning of the organization itself in the NFL. It seems as though that it's just not an alignment. In any sports organization we've seen over the years, there's alignment from the top all the way down. It has to be a complete understanding of the mission statement at hand. When these disconnects happen, this is what you have. And I go along with what Rayman said. I have no idea what an eberflus is. I looked in the dictionary and I don't know what it is. I don't. So God bless his ministries, but it's just not working out. It's just not working
Well, right now,
and real quick, I'm going to cut you up, but here's the thing I caught. I'm not a conspiracy theorist person. I don't go around with aluminum foil on my head. But
oh, good Lord.
When Justin Fields got out because of that hand injury and they brought in the third string quarterback dude, all of a sudden they were moving the chains. They were humming. All of a sudden, as soon as Fields, oh, my hand's busted. When they brought in this other dude, they were moving those chains, doctor. So I don't know if he's not getting along with the offensive line or not, but it was a whole different team when that new quarterback was out there.
Oh, Lord.
You know what I'm saying? And not just going to make any difference, but I just saw like literally night and day. Night and day. When this new quarterback came in, all of a sudden he's staying in the pocket. He's not sacked as much as Fields was. And I'm like, wait a minute. Are you trying to say that you want to get rid of Fields to start all over again and get a new quarterback? That could be it, because there's too much money at stake. And it's too much people in people's ears and what we can do to rob Peter to pay Paul and get out of this. It bothers me because you invested all this money into this dude. All of a sudden, he ain't the dude anymore. So what are you going to do? Get a new dude. If that's going to be the case in the next NFL draft, it's just, to me, watch what happens. Justin Fields will be released from the team. He'll go somewhere else and flourish. Mark my word.
Well, he may go somewhere else to flourish. Mandy Beflus won't. All right, so
that's good. That's good. That's great.
All right, so what is the temperature in the room when it comes to the Bears in Chicago? I mean, we've heard it nationally. How is it locally?
I think locally, from what I've heard, there has to be change. And I think people are tired of, and I hate this word, rebuild. We've had it with the Bears. We had it with the Bulls. That's the one word I hate is rebuilding and rebuild. So that's their go-to. So what's going to happen now? They're going to rebuild all over again, go on the NFL draft, see if they can get Caleb Williams or anybody else and start all over again. I think it's going to be the case. But it's not like he can't be coach. You just had the wrong coach for this quarterback. You had to have that quarterback whisperer, whoever he is, to work with said quarterback. But when you don't have that, again, the people I talk to are Bear fans, are realists. They don't sit there and just say, you know, everything's okay when it's not okay. They want change. They want justice. They don't want Justin Fields' point because, again, it just seems as though that when you look at the organization for what it is from top to bottom, sometimes you get place fillers. And sometimes maybe the other person, the other coach say you want cannot get out of his contract because of a timetable. So you put a place filler in there for the time being until you get the person you want. So I don't know who the deal is. I think the only person I saw that came out publicly, allegedly, I guess, quote unquote, would be Jim Harbaugh, who coaches Michigan football right now. He's supposed to be interested in the position of the Bears head coach if they get rid of Uberflus or whatever his Dove name is. I don't know.
I agree. I mean, it seems as though the Bears organization is going through like this smoke and mirrors period. It's like they want to have you think, well, we're doing something spectacular while you don't pay attention to the hot mess that is the organization itself and not just what you see on the field. Just the thought process of, yeah, let's put a roof on top of Soldier Field, to, well, let's move them all the way out of Chicago and put them in the suburbs. It almost seems as if the Bears organization is trying to say, look, we are upwardly mobile. We're actually trying to do things. We're actually trying to be innovative. And the product looks just as antiquated and just as busted as it did heck, the year after they went to the Super Bowl last, which was 2006. So, I feel for you as a Bears fan. I feel for you because I don't know how you have the heart to keep rooting for this team year after year, and they disappoint you as horribly as they do year after year.
I don't root like I used to, man. I have socks that I ball up and throw it at the screen. That's what usually happens. I get pissed off, man. I got some clean socks that I put into a ball and I throw at the screen and I get upset. So that's what usually happens. So if you see me in my living room here, whatever, in my room, I got I'm not doing the laundry. I have socks. I throw out the screen on the frustration. So that usually happens. So, but yeah, Rasta Ruck with that organization, they need an exorcist really bad. So on a side note, still about sports, you look into this whole thing with the Lakers. Okay, so they beat the Suns last night, 195. The good AD showed up last night. He had 30 points. So the good AD showed up. But prior to that, in the opening, as we saw, the bad AD showed up. He had 17 points, we know, in the first half, and then the next half he just disappeared. He just a goose egg. So I don't know which version you're going to get. I don't know how can you operate like that? How can you have someone who runs so hot and so cold? He has to change his name from AD to AG. First name Anthony, last name Glass. It is impossible for him to be consistent. It's one of those things where you got to take a roll of the dice. Which one's going to show up? It's too inconsistent. I've watched basketball pretty much since I was 12, but I've never seen anybody this inconsistent. I'm saying they never this before, but someone of the high profile of Anthony Davis, and he's one of ours. I claim him from Chicago. He's one of ours, but still the fact that he goes in there, and I don't know which one's going to show up. As a fan, I'm like, okay, which one do we get? It'll be nice to get the consistent AG, and have him go in there and do his thing, and that's what we need. But I don't know. It's like, okay, let me take a look at the schedule. Okay, you're going to play whoever team. Well, we'll see who's going to show up. And then LeBron James said something about, I'm going to yield my time or yield my game to Anthony because he's going to be the future of the franchise, the captain, everything else. Didn't he play a lot of minutes yesterday in the fourth quarter?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so what are we talking about here? If the goal was to reduce minutes and yield to the so-called future of the franchise, that just doesn't happen. You try to be a person of your word, but I think if your word doesn't mean anything from the standpoint of the person you're talking about and investing into is not holding up his end of the bargain, then you got to be LeBron again and play all damn near 48 minutes. So there is no progression. And I know we're still early in the season. I understand all that. But it's not a good look from all the jibber jabber that we heard in the offseason.
Yeah. What bothers me about that situation is I almost think this is perfect cover for I know we don't talk about this individual
on Fridays.
On other days, and definitely on Fridays, but heck, we'll do this here. I think it's perfect cover for number 23 of the Lakers. I believe he has the best of both worlds now. He could say, well, look, I'm not really the face of this franchise. Although he's the face of the league still, I'm not the face of the franchise. Face of the franchise is actually Anthony Davis. And so if the team goes down with the ship, it's all on him. But if the opposite were to happen, I think we'll see a repeat of 2020, where we will see number 23 of the Lakers ascend to his 5th Finals MVP and his 5th championship in his career. It's just, to me, it's just too convenient of an excuse. But yes, I share your sentiments about Anthony Davis so much. And yes, I have called them the NBA's version of Mr. Glass for the last 3 years. Go ahead, Wize.
No, yeah. They pulled out a victory. They beat the Suns team at home. And you would have thought that after winning the bubble championship, right, it would have ascended Anthony AG to really to that next echelon of player. He just hasn't lived up to it. He just hasn't been able to, after winning that title, really establish himself as the man in the NBA. Again, one of the reasons is he's not consistent and he's not always available. Those are two key things that if you're going to be one of the greatest of all times, then you have to be consistent and you have to be available. And he's just not that. He's just, I think in order for him to really take that next step, number 23 has to be gone, because it's never truly going to be your team while LeBron is there next to you. He's always going to overshadow you.
I can see that to a degree, but again, he has to show leadership skills now before LeBron takes off. And you're right. Maybe it's like the whole big brother, little brother thing. You know, you get tired of your little brother. He's pesking you, he'll get on your nerve and everything. But then the little brother grows up, sometimes gets taller than the big brother, and he decides to forge his own path in life. No one to worry about his big brother anymore. So that could be a possibility as well. Was there a rule about not talking about LeBron James on Friday? I had no idea. I didn't get a rule.
No, well, because they have Bron's sexual confessions on Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that. I knew about that. But I didn't know.
No. It's fair game for you to talk about anything, anybody.
Base, you can talk about anything you want. It don't matter, Base.
Okay, I'll just check because I want to be a team player. I want to follow the rule book. I don't want to be Anthony Glass. I want to be consistent.
No, it's a rule that I instituted on my own show way back when, that I was not going to talk about LeBron, but for this particular time period in a week, because I would see his name mentioned every single day. And so I was like, okay, so just for my sanity, I won't talk about him unless it's going to be in this block. But no, for you can talk about anything, LeBron included, because the one thing I love about you is it's equal parts humorous and educational too. So yeah, any topic and all topics are fair game with you here.
Oh, well, you're very kind, I dig. That means a lot to me. Explain to me, gentlemen. Beginning November 14th is the NBA will have an in-season tournament. Now, what the hell is this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. The NBA Cup. So, this is the brainchild of one Adam Silver because he's. Go ahead.
The WNBA has something already in place, something similar. Where
They have a mid-season tournament, yes.
Yeah, the mid-season tournament where they play, and it's not really anything of significance. It's just another way of NBA making money. It's just another way of them making money. I said I didn't approve of it unless my team wins the cup.
That's why he needs not to say a thing about this.
Hey,
I was like, you want to talk?
Hey.
You want to talk ill about the thing? He says, but the Knicks winning, I'm all for it. I'm like, man, get out of here.
If your team wins the Doc, hey, wait a minute, it's not too shabby. I'll take that.
Oh my gosh! Like, come on, Wize, really? But no, this is the brainchild of one Adam Silver. He was looking at the international game, and he thought, you know, we need to have some side of excitement. And I think he was looking at soccer leagues too over in Europe, and they have these tournaments where they in the middle of the season they play for this. They play for a championship in the middle of the season. So he's like, okay, I think it'd be a good idea. Plus, I think. He's been hearing from the players that, having this straight 82 game schedule, especially at the start of the season, because really the league is not talked about until Christmas, really. Let's see if we can get people to talk about the NBA before then. Let's see if we can get them talking about the league Thanksgiving. And then we'll lead into Christmas going our normal regular fare. I think that's what he was thinking. I'm against it. Even if the Rockets win, I'm against it because I think it's hot garbage. But I get why they're doing it, and Wize actually said it. It is for money purposes. It is a monetarily beneficial thing, and it's supposed to bring more money into the coffers. I love that word. My father would always say they bring it to the coffers of the National Basketball Association. But your thoughts on the in-season tournament of the NBA that will be instituted in sometime in November?
I understand, obviously, about making money, but how much more money do you need? I guess the answer is that we're gonna make more money. But at the same time, you take away sometimes, I believe, the purity of the game itself. Don't get me wrong, everybody wants to check. I get all that, but there's a way to have, I think, a healthy balance. I think it's like load management. This is overload. And there's nothing wrong with, again, trying to have new ideas, but it just has to work. And I don't, look, it's bad enough. We talk about the All-Star game, NBA All-Star game that happens, around February or so. And now it's become so much of a debacle and a sideshow and a circus. I got to go through all of that just to get to the game. And even the game has become a sideshow and a circus to a degree. So it's one of those things where if be careful what you wish for, just might get it. And you want all the money in the world, right? But it always comes with a price. And this in-tournament thing during the season, yes, I'll watch it, but I think I don't want to be a fan of it just off the bat. And yes, the thing about money is that it can corrupt with you absolutely, or I say absolutely corrupt you. And no matter if you're not careful, you can get all the money you want, but at what price? And what the price of yourself being an executive working in the NBA or a player or even to a fan, because we got to give them the money. We got to dish out the tickets and go to these games, everything else, if you got pockets like that. But at the same time, it just seems to me, look, it just would be nice if you just go on and have the season and not this in-season stuff and just go on and just do what you got to do and stop the low management stuff and just play the game and go on from there. But we're talking about different era, different players, different types of organizational skills, things like that. So it's just, it hurts my soul. But between that and why is it that I'm listening and seeing spots about Christmas time already? I get now, we crossed the point of no return. It just would be nice to have, say, if you celebrate it, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then the holiday season in December. That should be celebrated. But the advertisers and some of these companies think that we don't know that the holiday season will be in December. So they jack up these commercials and spots now. It's not even Halloween yet if you celebrate Halloween. It's not even that. But yet you jack up all these Christmas commercials and holiday commercials already just to be sure the dummies out there, which we're not stupid, but I would love to be in a boardroom to say, all right, you monkeys, how are we gonna get these commercial spots out? Because the people out there are stupid. You gotta get it out now. Well, what about having the spots now? Or maybe like September? Yeah, that's right. Go green like that. Because that's what they're doing. And it's an insult to the possible consumer, he or she, who's watching and listening. We know where these commercials belong to. We know when the holiday season is going to end or begin or end, start or end. We know that. But yet, have it up to some advertisers and boards, they would start advertising Christmas in January if they had it their way. Because to them, everybody's stupid. I'm tired, man. I mean, I hate this once again sound like you're off my lawn, you kids, but it's tiring. I don't need to hear Christmas commercials in October. It's, man, okay.
Look, we see.
I can't do it, Doc.
We see Halloween stuff being brought up in August, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, hold on, whoa. I don't need to see jack-o'-lanterns, and we haven't gone through Labor Day yet. What is wrong?
Right.
And then you and like you said, advertisers, they go absolutely crazy. I mean, you have Starbucks. We get to Labor Day, and then they say, "Oh, let's get ready for the fall, and let's get ready for the middle of the fall. Pumpkin spice lattes return." I'm like, "Oh, great."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, goodness gracious. So we broadcast we see Christmas commercials in October. We see Halloween commercials in August, and I'm thinking, doggone. I'm with you. I'm like, okay, I get if it's that month or if it's at later, like if it's Thanksgiving. Of course, after Thanksgiving, we start seeing Christmas stuff. I get that. But do we need to see Christmas in October? Do we need to see Halloween in August? But yeah, weird times we live in.
It is what it is, unfortunately. And one more note that I got a chance to check out last week. So last week's Monday Night Football game, when it was the Niners versus the Vikings,
right?
The background music was from Prince.
Mm-hmm.
There's a song called "Push" by Prince and the New Power Generation.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why I mention this is because I've never heard Prince in any type of advertisement until, unfortunately, after his death and the estate of his everything went to his family.
You're going
so
exactly
now the
where
family,
you go. Exactly what I was going to say. Yep.
Right. So the family has it. So they just doing it for obviously reap the benefits of their late relative. And Prince, if he was alive, never did that.
Yeah, he
never
totally vehemently against it. Yeah.
Exactly. He did not want his songs for advertisement purposes. He never wanted that. And the thing he went through with Warner Brothers and having Slave put on his cheek during that time. Going to that, trying to own your own masters and secure your own creativity from that perspective. And it was mixed for me because, once again, like most people, have been a fan of Prince since day one. And so to see his work being just dished out like that by his family and the estate, yeah, it kind of made my heart a little heavy, man, because we all know, once again, if Prince was alive, we would have never heard that in an advertisement for the NFL. Never.
Sure wouldn't have. No, he wouldn't have. And when I first started hearing those types of things, and of course it was not too long after he died, I was like, oh, wow. I was like, Prince would turn over in his grave. Because he publicly said, this is not what my music's for. I mean, he purposely said that. And if you were to hear his music outside of his own performing it, it obviously was because he felt a kinship to something. For example, like you would hear Let's Go Crazy play in Vikings games when he was alive even. And it was because he's a native of Minneapolis. And Paisley Park is in one of the suburbs of Minneapolis called Chanhassen. And of course, he's all things Twin Cities, or was all things Twin Cities. So he was a huge Vikings fan, and they felt it was, they asked him, he said, sure, go ahead and use it. But yeah, when you see things such as, like when, say for example, Justin Timberlake performed when the Super Bowl wasn't in Minneapolis, and you had a couple of things that had Prince's images on display, that would that would sicken him. Yeah, and I'm a huge Prince fan too. I've seen no other performer more than him in concert. I've seen some good ones. I haven't seen any more than I've seen Prince in concert. So knowing him, just knowing the little bit about him that I knew, I'm like, oh yeah, this is not what he's about. And as a fan, I think you feel this somewhat too. You hear stuff on advertisements, you hear stuff played in places that you just know you wouldn't otherwise hear if he was alive, and you feel sick for the man because he isn't able to fight and say, my music was not meant for this purpose, it was meant for this. And to see his estate take advantage of him and his name, it's also another indictment against how, when you leave a legacy, how it isn't always adhered to because there's others who think better than you do.
It first caught my attention. Yeah, it first caught my attention, Cole, when there was an advertisement for a new movie coming out next year called The Book of Clarence.
Right.
Now, me personally, I'm interested in the movie. It's about this wannabe Messiah during the time of Jesus Christ. And it's portrayed, with a majority of all black cast. So I'm interested in that. But the hook was Prince's I Would Die For You, which fits it perfectly. Don't be wrong. It's the perfect song for the movie. But again, I harken back to this conversation we're having right now about Prince would never have gone for that at all. No. It's perfect. It's a perfect song for that, to I Would Die For You and the Messiah effect. I get that. It was, if Prince had approved of it, it would have been, once again, just locked in perfect.
Oh,
because of the fact we're dealing with, again, the estate, and again, trying to make a check, get some dollar signs in their own pockets. It's just completely wrong, man. And it really breaks my heart. Really does.
It does. It breaks mine too, because I'm like, man, this is not what Prince represented. This is not what he's about. And he's been gone a few years now, and yeah, it's sad. It's sad to see that his legacy has been tarnished because of his relatives. And knowing Prince the way we do, and Prince would be 65 now. Knowing Prince the way we do, he probably either would say, sure, use I Would Die For You, or he'd say, nah, I don't use I Would Die For You. I'll create something for you.
Right.
Because that to me is what Prince was. I mean, he was just one of the master creators of music, and of course he was a basketball fan too, and actually from what I heard, he has some handles on the shot. So yeah, so yeah, glad to meet another Prince fan. I love talking Prince with anybody, but yeah, that pains me so much, man. Oh, that pains me so much.
Well, look, man, I know we had to try to time out everybody to come on Baseline one morning, and we can talk about anything else. We talk about Prince too, man, and chop it up about that. And it's like, where were you? We first discovered Prince and things of that nature, man. It's one of those historical contents when you just heard his music, you knew you was listening to something that was not the average person. This dude was from somewhere else, and that type of thing. Oh, another thing, if people out there who do like horror and like some gore or some thriller or something like that, even Michael Jackson was on there as well. But the holiday season, when it comes to Halloween, I have been an avid reader since I was a child of Edgar Allan Poe. I think Edgar Allan Poe was probably one of the most gothic, way ahead of his time writers I ever got a chance to read. One of my favorites is a book called The Fall of the House of Usher. And if you're a fan, even if you know anything about Edgar Allan Poe, Netflix has a limited series called The Fall of the House of Usher. The writers have made it more, they made it into modern times because it's set, because the story is set, it's like in the 1800s somewhere. Now it's in current modern time, dealing with the Usher family when it comes to power and greed in this country. I think is very well read, not well read, but I think it's very well done to take something like that. And I think it's a challenge to certain writers to take something that's an older product and maybe, depending on the writer, him or herself, if it's not challenging enough, to spin it into a modern tale. To take those same characters, because the characters deal with greed and all types of things. So greed ain't going nowhere. So you just take it into modern times, which seems to fit. And I'm telling you, if you're a person that appreciates, and even if you know anything about Edgar Allan Poe, maybe it could be introduction to it. So The Fall of the House of Usher, the limited series on Netflix, if you're into that type of thing, check it out. It's very well done.
All right. Well, I'll definitely do that. I'll definitely do that. Well, one more thing before we do let you go. Now we're talking about being fans of certain things. I would assume that you are also a fan of Richard Roundtree. Now, of course, for those who may not know the name, I know Base does. Richard Roundtree, of course, was most famously known for playing the iconic character Shaft, and he died at the age of 81 this past week. And he represented a lot of things, especially for brothers like us when we were young and we got a chance to see Shaft over and over and over again. And then listening to our parents and grandparents talk about how things were with our culture before that landmark movie hit in 1971. And you got a chance to see this character that was at the time groundbreaking and it absolutely just jarred a lot of people in terms of, wow, a black leading man who's playing an action flick could actually say the things he's saying, dress the way he dresses, act the way he acts, and could actually carry the day and be respected in a film. Talk to me about your impression on Richard Roundtree, his impact on your life, and what you thought of him, and how his enduring legacy, and what his enduring legacy means to you.
Richard Roundtree showed me as a child watching Shaft on television or they replayed in movies that I could be a superhero. And it wasn't stereotypical at all. The man was smooth, intelligent, articulate, and people understand something. We didn't see too many of that, depending on what area we grew up in. There's a lot of moonshining going on, a lot of bucking, jive and everything else. But you had someone like him who just literally changed the game. This guy used to live in Chicago at one point. He was a former model. Used to work for Ebony Jet at one point. Yeah, he worked in the fashion fair for years. My late wife, Vicky, went to school with one of his daughters at one point. So, in fact, my wife, Vicky, said she went to her friend's birthday party and he was actually there. I mean, from the standpoint of going to other children's birthday parties to, pick up his children and stuff like that and would stay around for a little bit. And he was popular then before the movie came out. So, yeah, someone was just a great man to be around. And he just kept evolving. So not only from a movie perspective, but for me, and I had a conversation with a friend of mine after Mr. Roundtree passed away, I believe he was one of the first to bring awareness to men having breast cancer. I think that when he had breast cancer and announced it to the world, first of all, we had to go with the stereotype. Everything about breast cancer, it deals with women. So that had to stop. It's like, look, man, men have breasts too. We just sexualize the whole woman thing at times, but it's not about that. It's about what this cancer can do to you. So I know he had a mastectomy. I don't know if it was double or not, but just the fact that here's Shaft. I mean, one of the greatest iconic screen heroes, black, white, or wherever, coming forward in his real life saying, I have breast cancer. That was huge. And I think that a lot of men were aware of that because based on him, got themselves checked out. Because that to me, you go beyond the screen, as I call it, and you're able to not only use your platform to help, the fact that you didn't have to share that, but you did. And that to me was just iconic by itself. And so along the years, we see him. He was in the original Roots during that time in the 70s. Once again, he modeled, like I said. Another thing, when I was watching, say, back in the 90s, Different World, I got the sister's name. He played her father. The sister was going to be a doctor. I forgot her character.
Yeah. But the character name was Kim. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Thank you. Right. And he turns up playing the father. So this is what I liked about the show. When they had these parents that they selected, say, for example, Patti LaBelle with Kadeem Hardison and Diane Carroll with Jasmine Guy. The melanin matched up. The skin tone matched up. That's what I liked about
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. People,
yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Whoever did the research on that made sure that these people can really pass for their parents. So that's what I liked about that show. For example, when you bring on one of these great iconic people during that time, and Richard Roundtree playing Kim's, the lady's father in that, it just says, look, man, these people are just making the show better by just being on there and their presence. And so heroes never die.
Right.
They never die. So I'm very sorry we lost him, but I really am thankful that he was here so that we can learn and get to know him over time. If you don't know who he is, it's never too late. The great thing about the internet, you can check him out, go see his movies and things of that nature, and get to know him, because the man was that man. He was that dude. And and I hate cancer. I would say F, but you know how I feel about cancer. My wife died of cancer, so I hate it with a passion. Anything cancer related, I'm sort of knuckle up and guard my grill. I wish cancer was something tangible. I kick cancer's ass and let it go away, but unfortunately we can't. But it's the fact that we have to fight. And when I heard about and read about him having pancreatic cancer, I was told that pancreatic cancer takes you smooth out, man. There's nothing you can do about that. Once it hits your pancreas area, that's pretty much it. But the 81 years of him walking the earth here, we bear witness. We bear witness.
Impactful. Yes, I agree. And for those who aren't aware, yes, he was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1993. So basically it was around basically my age, like right in between. So here's this guy in his 50s, and he said, I have breast cancer, and actually announces it to the world. I mean, now 2 decades before then, we got a chance to see, okay, so this is what black machismo looks like. This is the essence of, like you said, the black superhero. So this guy who has this understood, as many people saw him, he announces this, makes me understand. His level of masculinity was through the roof, because he was complimenting his own skin to actually say that. But he underwent a double mastectomy and chemotherapy afterwards. But lived another 3 decades before, unfortunately, like you said, pancreatic cancer took him smooth out. So we will leave it there. That was wonderful. Wonderful. I appreciate your thoughts. I always do. And I appreciate when we get a chance to actually chop it up like this. Ladies and gentlemen, when you get a chance to watch this guy, you will learn and you will laugh. And you will enjoy the 2 hours that you took part of watching this man's program, Baseline, every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. And if you're in the West Coast, just catch the replay, and you can catch it on the Chris Base YouTube channel. Any final words? No problem, sir. Any final words before we let you go, sir?
For those of you who do not celebrate Halloween, when you check out my show tomorrow, I do have a segment on at the top of the second hour. Pastor Dalvin Price, who's on me every Saturday morning. He has a thing called Trunk or Treat, and Trunk or Treat has nothing to do with Halloween and the religious from that Salem standpoint. But what he has is individual trunks full of candy for children, and he goes to various neighborhoods here in Chicago and does that instead. So we'll talk about that. But also, I wouldn't come out and say this too often. We want to donate to that. Please check out the show tomorrow. Get more information about you donating money so children can have trunk or treat, and without the whole semblance of violence and witches, stuff like that. It's a whole different experience of what Pastor's doing. So yeah, please stick around for that. Not stick around, but if you happen to wake up, please check it out, and we'll get into that in the second hour because we do it every year. And I also admire what Pastor's doing to give children an alternative outside of the whole Halloween thing. So looking forward to that tomorrow morning.
A pastor putting a positive spin on Halloween. Who would have thought? That I honor him for that. Again, Chris Bass, once again, we thank you, brother. It is an honor to be even mentioned alongside of you, let alone actually having this platform to chop it up with you. Thank you, sir.
Oh, well, thank you, bro. I love you more. Thank you so much for every Friday. Everybody out there, have a fantastic weekend, and hey, be kind. I know some people don't deserve it. Even the people I bring back to hell sometimes. But yeah, outside of that, yeah, be kind. It goes a long way.
I agree. Love you too, man. I agree. Definitely be kind. I support that message all the way. Man.
And now, the transporter to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris Bay.
Once again, that was the legendary Chris Bass bringing this day, bringing this show, and bringing this week to a positive and entertaining close. And we will leave it there for the day and for the week. Thank you so much to Chris Bass. Thank you so much to Mike Debate. Thank you so much to Sam Shady. Thank you so much to Wize El Jefe, my brother, my Mentality brother. And now that I'm thinking about it, check out Mentality on the Real Wize TV YouTube channel and the Comey Media Incorporated YouTube channel. We premiere every episode every single Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. And you can catch that on the Comey Media Incorporated YouTube channel for that. And you can catch it other times. I think on Real Wize TV, it premieres at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Mondays. And definitely thank you to the one and only And yes, one of the things that makes Snowman the wonderful, indomitable spirit of a human being that he is, he suffered from pancreatic cancer, and he's walking on this earth today in total remission. That'll do it for this episode of Snowman and the Wonderful Cole Johnson. Thank you so much for joining us each and every day, not just this day. And we will say in parting, as we always do, take care, God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they're simply not big enough. Or I should say, you'll be taken in. Dream big and do bigger. That's what I'm doing. That's what the people who come on this show do. That's what we hope you're doing in the listening and viewing audience. Until we do this again Monday, I am Cole Johnson for Wize, for the Snowman, for Victor, for Mike, for Chris Bass, and for Sam Shady. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and we'll see you again. And we'll be, one day away from Halloween. Until then, have a laugh on us.
Bro, you walk through this office building every day. You know what the fire alarm look like. I don't want to hear that. What my is wrong? Like you got. I wish you had that button right now. Got me up with this bull. You got a mother thinking from New York can't read. Don't know red means fire alarm. Like you seen it says don't pull or pull in case of emergency. There was no emergency. Like, oh my God.
Oh, keep cooking.
Let me calm down. Because this dude is really a yo.
Keep cooking.
I'm wondering why you brought this up, man. Like, this is not news. This is not news. This is some stupid trying to make a power play, and he came out looking like a dumb. This is all that is. Let me try to delay this phone. I'm late. Negro, put up. You need to speed up your watch or something, or put your alarm set so you can leave 20 minutes earlier. I don't know, but pull a fire alarm. Yo, you was just giving New Yorkers a bad name with this dumb, stupid. Like, really.